What's up, Wellness Junkies? It's the girl with the business brain and yoga body, Sabrina Zealous, welcoming you to Yoga Socialite. This is the place where asana meets aesthetics. So we're here for the good vibes, the cute fits, and the real talk. Let's get into it. What's up, Wellness Junkies? It's your host, Sabrina Zealous, back with another episode of the Yoga Socialite pod. Today, we're diving into a topic that's all about giving yourself the time and the tools to feel truly ready for this new year. Basically, giving yourself grace as you move into the new year. For some of us that are old souls, it doesn't really feel like the calendar year is up. It feels like it's a Sunday, like it's a Groundhog Day of 2024 as we have entered into January of 2025. And it may not even feel like the new year up until like the end of January, the beginning of February. And we're going to unpack why that is. We're also going to talk about resetting your nervous system so that you can call in your greatest good for the new year and so many other things. So you know how I like to do things short, sweet, and to the point. So we're going to hop right in. I'm going to be completely honest with y'all. Today has been such a Monday, and I did not sleep well last night, but I do have a massage today, so I don't have any makeup on, and I'm very like all natural. So we're gonna see how this podcast goes. I think I have good enough lighting to where like I don't look like I'm half asleep, but we're gonna see how this podcast goes. I haven't had a matcha today. Y'all know how I feel about my matcha, though I am kind of wearing a matcha-y green outfit. I am wearing this bodysuit from Beyond Yoga, which is like just gives you a hug. That's the wonderful thing about Beyond Yoga. Everything's so soft that it gives you a hug. I would leave you all like a little 15% discount in the description of this podcast. But as many of you know, I'm a Beyond Yoga ambassador, hence why I'm talking about them. But they are revamping our ambassador codes and our discount codes, so I haven't got the new link yet, so stay tuned. Or you can click my old link. I'll put the old link in there and see if it still works. So moving right along to what we're actually supposed to be talking about today. The energy of the new year does not feel like 2025 yet, at least for me. And there's been several people that I've been talking to that say the same thing. Like it has not been feeling like 2025 for them. And so for so many of us, January 1st, like it's not that fresh start. It's that Groundhog's Day of 2024. It's that like continuation. It's like a Sunday. It's like a Sunday that just keeps repeating itself for 2024. And I think this could possibly be because back in the day, this is historically proven, and I'm also going to put a little Instagram clip up about this as well that just gives you a quick breakdown of it. But back in the day, we used to be on a 13-month calendar. Now, I have some friends that are Habesha, and they are still on a 13-month calendar.
We used to have 13 months, 28 days, and 1 day of rest, even in the Bible. So look, we have 13 lunar cycles of 28 days, 13 zodiac signs. Every turtle shell you'll find, 13 sections in the middle, and 28 notches along the side. All to keep us disconnected from these natural cycles of our realm. Listen to David Straight explain it more.
Our calendar is not quite right. We're supposed to have 13 months of 28 days, with one day, the day of resurrection, Easter, as a neutral day.
And I think that energetically, for those of us who like this new year doesn't quite feel like the new year yet, I'm wondering if it correlates to the fact that back in the day, like our ancient energy was connected to that 13-year calendar. So the new year for some of us is going to feel like the end of January, beginning of February. And it's always been like that for me. First, I was thinking about it and I was like, oh my gosh, am I just being influenced by like this Instagram video that I saw? Or why do I feel like that? But if you think about it, and I've mentioned this before, the energy at the beginning of the year is not when I like to do my vision boards and things. I've always done those at the end of January. And I've always found a lot of success in doing that. And I'm wondering if that is because of the 13-month thing. If it's really because January right now would not have been the new year, and the end of January, beginning of February would have been the new year. And maybe like energetically, my past self knew that. And that is why I always have connected to that. So that's just something that I'm processing and figuring out on my own. But I wanted to call that out because the Lunar New Year or the start of the spring planning may feel out of sync for you. You may be connected to that 13 months. So don't feel like, oh my gosh, I haven't done my vision board yet. And I haven't accomplished all these things. I'm doing a 30-day challenge, but I'm having a hard time keeping up with it. Don't put that pressure on yourself because energetically, your body just might not be in that space just yet. So give yourself some grace around that. And as we talk about giving ourselves grace, we're also going to go into about resetting our nervous system for the new year. I am doing the Open app has like a 21-day nervous system reboot, and I am trying it out. I did my first one today. Again, not going with the new year energy, not doing it on the 1st, doing it on whatever today is. Y'all, I don't even know what day it is. That's how disconnected to January I feel. I'm going on my iPad, our handy dandy iPad, and today's the 6th, by the way. So funny. I had no clue what day it was. So I knew it was a Monday, but I didn't know what the actual calendar day was. So that's what we're going to go into about the nervous system as well. So if you're feeling like this month is just a continuation, it's like a long December, I always like to think of it when you go, like I'm from a smaller town and many of us did our first year of college at our community college or at the university there because they had a program, and I'm not sure if they still have this, but back in the day they used to have this program where you could go to college your first year, I think it was your first 2 years, for free and get all your basics done in my town just to keep the community young and vibrant and also like reward students that had a certain GPA in high school. And many of us did that. And so January always feels like that year that I spent my first year of college at home, my freshman year of college at home, like getting my basics done, kind of getting a routine. And then once you leave that space, that's when it kicks into high gear. So that's how it feels like for me. And in doing so, we have to give ourselves grace. And I think part of giving ourselves grace is starting to reset our nervous system. Your nervous system has 2 main modes. So it has the flight or fight mode, your sympathetic nervous system and your parasympathetic nervous system. So it can be hard when you're stressed because you'll get stuck into usually one of those modes. And it can be hard to feel present. It can be hard to feel focused. And resetting your nervous system is something that I recommend doing, not only in situations like that, but I recommend resetting your nervous system at the beginning of the year, or like how we're taking this as our 13th month, in your 13th month. And signs that you really need to reset your nervous system is trouble sleeping. So if you're waking up in the middle of the night or you're having restless sleep, if you're feeling overwhelmed or anxious, if you're low energy, low vibrational energy, low like physical energy, like you're tired and you're irritable, and if you feel like physical tension. So if you've taken a yoga class with me, you know I talk about like the tension in your neck, your jawline, maybe your eye is twitching. And my eye has been twitching. It actually stopped for a few days and then it kind of picked up a little bit today and then it stopped again, thank goodness. I think part of mine is I also have the worst allergies in the world, and my allergies are eye and nose allergies. But I also think it's because I need to reset my nervous system and kind of like bring it all down from all the different things that I had going on for December and all the things that I have lined up for January. I just had a really good friend of mine, reach out, and I want her to have her on the podcast. And also her housemate is like an amazing content creator, and I would like to shoot some content with her. And they were like, oh my gosh, yeah, let's do it, in March and blah, blah, blah. Like, one, I'm an Aquarius. So as an Aquarius, you already know. If you're an Aquarius or have an Aquarius friend, you already know. Like, we do not, I like to-do lists and stuff, but we do not like to be like pressured on. And they weren't putting pressure on me, but like setting dates is so hard for Aquarius. Like, it took me forever
to book my tickets to go visit my family this year because I was like, well, if I do this day, blah, blah, blah. And then finally one of the girls at the studio was like, girl, if you don't book that flight, like seriously, book it right now while we're all here so you have confirmation. Because Aquarius nature, people like to say we procrastinate, but I think we just try to find the best ideal time for us to do things. And so they were reaching out and they were like, oh my gosh, let's shoot content. Let's come down and visit you, or you can come up and see us. And I was just like, like I could just feel like that, like can't breathe, that fight or flight energy coming. And I had to straight up tell them, I'm like, I love you both, but like, let me make it through my 13th month. Let me make it through January. And then we can go from there, because I just couldn't energetically like even entertain the idea. And more than likely it's still going to happen, but after January, I can like process that. You know what I mean? So if you're having that energetic feeling, I'm with you. And also we got to reset our nervous system. So I already mentioned that I'm doing the Open app. I want to say it's called Open. I saw an ad for it on Instagram. It kept popping up on my Instagram, and I'll make sure just to post it over here too. But they have like a free 30-day trial that I found. And then I also want to do this 21-day nervous system reset. And it also has James Blake. If you're a yoga teacher, you know James Blake has been on your playlist at least once. Back in the day, James Blake was all up over my playlist, okay? James Blake was like #1 played for me on my Spotify recap. So James Blake is somehow coordinated to this reset. I don't know if he's gonna like sing me a song at the end of the reset or what, but I'm interested. And he has a good voice, so maybe he's gonna lead me a meditation. I don't know. Well, I'll keep you posted on that. So I wanna give you some practical tips on resetting your nervous system. As I mentioned, I'm using that app, but you can also just do breath work on your own. Breath work is one of the fastest ways to calm your nervous system. My boyfriend today had so much going on this morning, and I could just see that fight or flight nervous system reset necessary. Like, let's like restart the day energy on him. And so I just sat there in the kitchen. I said, hey, honey, let's take 3 deep breaths. Take a big inhale through your nose, and let's do it all together. Big inhale through your nose. Exhale it out of your mouth. Get that physical release. 2 more just like that. Big inhale through your nose. Exhale out your mouth, get that physical release. Last one, big inhale through your nose. Exhale out of your mouth, get that physical release. Did you notice how impeccable that feels just to get 3 breaths in? One of my favorite nervous system resets is the 4-7-8 breath, where you inhale for a count of 4, you hold your breath for a count of 7, and then you exhale for a count of 8. And if you're someone that's newer to breath work and you can't hold your breath for that amount of time, just do the best you can. Or box breathing. I've done videos on box breathing before. I'm pretty sure there is an Instagram short on box breathing that I did. I think there is. I will also try to link something down in the description box. I think I will. I'm going to do my best too, about box breathing, but it's inhaling for 4, holding for 4, exhaling for 4, repeating. It's like creating a little box, and it's one of my favorite ways to teach people breath work and an intro into breath work. But breath work really just signals your body to relax. It tells your brain, okay, I am here, I am present, all is gonna work out, it's all good. B.K.S. Iyengar would say, control your breath, control your life. How breath is the pranayama, the breathing is some of the most important parts of the limbs of yoga. And that could go into a whole nother tangent, so let's stay on track. The next step I have for you is nature therapy. Now, I can already see a few of my friends, Maria, Clarissa, Nina. I could see all of y'all like being like nature therapy and looking at me like, girl. First of all, nature therapy also includes walks. So spending at least 20 minutes outside. Walking is a beautiful way to even find reflection in yourself, or you can even create it as a meditation. You know, we had such a busy Monday, and I could tell that it was going to be like that Monday kind of energy. So to reset that Monday for us, I woke my boyfriend up and I was like, let's go for a walk. Like, let's go for a walk. And we were both getting messages and texts and emails on our phones. And I was like, you know what? let's put it on Do Not Disturb, finish our walk, and then we'll deal with this stuff when we get back to the house. And we're really blessed where we live because there's a lot of inclines, so you get a little workout in there, and then there's literal mountains and palm trees that surround us. And so it's a really beautiful walk when we do go for a walk, but you might have to get outside of your neighborhood to enjoy that, like going on a hike. That's why I was laughing originally, because I know my girls, those are my girls that like to go on hikes and like nature trails, and my nature trail is like walking around a cute neighborhood or shopping. So whatever your nature therapy is, highly recommend for resetting your nervous system. Red light therapy is my next tip. I enjoy red light therapy. I don't have the full face mask. I have the light stem like wand that you use on your face, but we just got a red light lamp donated to our studio, and I need to buy glasses for it so I can lay underneath it. But if you're not familiar with red light therapy, it has been scientifically proven to support cellular repair and also reduce stress. So if you have inflammation in your body, if you want your face to look younger, it breaks down into your mitochondria and starts to reproduce energy in there. It's very interesting. I hope I explained that right. I might not have explained that correctly, but it is so interesting. Do your own research on it. But sitting under a red light for 10 to 15 minutes can help you feel more energized. It can help reduce inflammation, and inflammation can come into our bodies from stress and stress eating, because if you're eating a lot of sugar and sweets and salty things, which are all my favorite things too, that can come into your body and it can create inflammation. So that red light releases the inflammation, which also releases that stress from your body. Of course, movements like yoga, or we already talked about walking, but also dancing, ecstatic dance, moving around, shaking it out. You know, I have a friend who leads Air Bar Fit, and it's like this mix of yoga and ecstatic dance, and you're using this bar, and it's such an interesting concept. And I think about her, but I think about like ecstatic dance, and I think about Kundalini classes and that ecstatic dance, but you could just drop it to the floor, twerk it later, twerk it out, twerk asana yourself at home. I'm not even kidding. There have been times where I just put my headphones in, I'm like cleaning around the house, and I'll just have like a 20-minute dance break while I'm cleaning. And it just makes you feel so much better. Putting on like tunes that you used to listen to like in high school, or like that create like fun memories, or like OG jams of yours. It just makes it so much better for your brain, and it releases stress. And then of course, nutrition. You are what you eat. What you speak, you become, and you are what you eat. So eating foods that are rich in omega-3s, magnesium, that have B vitamins, that support nervous system health. Think avocados, nuts, leafy greens, and salmon. I prefer halibut, to be honest with you. But those are a few things that you can eat. I've been cutting back on sugar, and it's not even anything to do with the new year. I just personally knew I was consuming a lot of sugar. I've had a lot of cake, a lot of pie, a lot of ice cream lately, and I love sugar. I used to keep jars of gummy bears and Twizzlers in my house. And I'm not talking about just jars. I'm talking about like the big, like the container store organizing things for your kitchen that people put pasta in. I had like Twizzlers in that back in the day. So I used to be a candy queen, and I love sweets, but I now limit my sweets, and I really make them count. Like if I'm gonna have sweets, it's gonna count. Like it's gonna be butter cake. Like it's not gonna be just like a Snickers, okay? But when I noticed that my nervous system was off, like my eyes been twitching, I hadn't been sleeping well, that kind of thing, I started switching up my food intake too. I don't diet. I don't like to say diet because I'm not into diet culture. I've never dieted, but I do monitor my food intake based off like what's going on in my body. So I've been eating a lot of kale salad. I've been putting a lot of walnuts in my yogurt, making parfaits. I'm gonna have halibut this week, that kind of thing. But bringing everything together, aligning with that 13-month energy and honoring like our natural rhythms, you gotta take cues from the OG times, from the ancient times. You have to allow yourself to flow with the seasons. I think this is really easy concept for yogis to embrace because we are all about going with the flow, literally, whether it's a planned sequence or you're in a vinyasa class and you're not sure what's going to come next. But I want to encourage all of you to use January as a time for reflecting and clearing out that old energy. So the end of January, beginning of February, you can start to plant those seeds for the year ahead. And I want to encourage you also to journal and plan out your reset by journaling, getting it out of your brain and onto some paper or type it out. My journaling prompts for you, and they're also going to be in the description of this podcast, is what energy do you want to carry into 2025? And what things are you saying goodbye to in 2025? And you might also make this, if you're a content creator, if you're one of my content creator yogis, you might also make this a post. I saw a post that I wanted to recreate the other day, and it was like things that aren't coming with me into 2025. And she made a list of things. She may not have listed what she's carrying in, but at least she listed what ain't coming with her. And I'm thinking about doing that myself. I also want to invite you to come up with new practices that can support your nervous system, things that are genuine and fit into your lifestyle that can support your nervous system. And then create a mini New Year ceremony later in January by lighting a candle, setting intentions, visualizing that year ahead. And then maybe that's when you start to create your vision board. Once you have all of that clarity, you've cleared out, you've reset your nervous system, I would recommend that be the time that you do your vision board, and maybe we'll do our vision board party together. Again, I'm still in my Aquarius nature. I cannot confirm or deny that we're gonna have a vision board party all together. I cannot, not yet at least, but we might. Stay tuned. The start of the new year is more than just the date on the calendar. It's a feeling. It's your natural body's rhythm and alignment. And you have to give yourself grace and ease to move into this year. Because the energy that you're bringing in, if it's that chaotic energy, if it's that flight or fight, if it's that nervous system is all over the freaking place, it's not gonna go the way you want it to go. And I recommend taking this 13th month, as I wanna call it, as a place for you to tap into your tools, tap into your grounding practices. Try some of these different examples and tips and techniques that I gave you. And then let me know how it goes. You know, my listener challenge for y'all this week is that I want you to try one of these reset techniques that I gave you, or list below, if you're watching this on YouTube or if you're on Spotify, you can also put this in the little comment section. Tell me your grounding technique that you're gonna tap into. And then share your experiences with me through social. Of course, you can always connect with me on social media, Yoga Socialite on every single social media that you can think of, except Snapchat. I am not a Snapchat person. It ain't happening. Sorry. I think Snapchat, I mentioned this before. I'm gonna go off on a slight tangent as we close. But back in the day when Snapchat first came out, people used to use it to send extracurricular photos to people because they knew that it would go off in 24 hours, right? And this is before people were like really screenshotting. I don't even know if you could screenshot back then, but I remember my sorority was like, do not have Snapchat, because they knew what that meant. Like if you had Snapchat, we all knew what you were doing. Oh my gosh. So that's my ending on Snapchat and ending on that. Reset your nervous system. If you're not feeling like this has been a new year just yet, it's not just you. I'm right there with you. And I appreciate you listening. Comment below any feedback that you have, Q&As for upcoming like recap pod, and I will see all of you soon. Have a beautiful day.